dying on the inside. My health was deteriorating. My mental and emotional well-being was deteriorating, and life was just super hard. But welcome back, friend. So let's talk about isolation. Isolation is a tough one. It happens before you even realize it's happening. And some signs of that for me was it started when we were dating, and I had a lot of guy friends back in high school, and my boyfriend at the time, after we had graduated, I had some guy friends that I would run into in town, and he did not like me talking to them. He made it perfectly clear that that was not right, that I was his, and, and he made it seem like, he was jealous that, oh, but he just loves me so much. And he made it seem like a good thing that I should not be talking to other guys. And so I thought, well, he always made things make sense, right? And so I cut all the guy friends out of my life. And then as time went by, there was friction between him and my family. And he always made me feel like my family was the problem. And then even my girlfriends, he would make comments about them, or he didn't, maybe like their boyfriends. And so we couldn't be friends with them or hang out with them. So it was just little things like that. And then as time went by, with my family, he started saying, that my family was the problem and that we should move further away. We were already an hour and a half away. And he was like, we should move further away where they can't just come whenever they want to. And so we did. We moved 4 hours away, which made it even harder for me to see them whenever I wanted to. And so then it got to the point where I couldn't even get on the phone with my mom without him knowing somehow. And he could tell when I'd had a conversation with her. And then he always played the victim, or like, your mom doesn't like me, whatever the problem was. And so it just got to a point where I didn't talk to my mom hardly at all. I didn't talk to any of my friends. I didn't have any friends. And as time went on, we never even could make friendships with people, because I would meet some women at church and he wouldn't like their husband. And so therefore we couldn't hang out together. And it just, we just were very isolated. And occasionally we would get in a small group and make some friends, but eventually that would fizzle as well. And I don't ever know what happened. And so over time, we were very isolated. And this is where that controlling behavior kind of comes in, where, it's like he's controlling who we can and can't talk to, who we can be friends with and who we can't. And sometimes it felt like maybe he would make comments about them, that there was something wrong with them or whatever. And I think that he could just see some of himself in them. And so he knew maybe motives or intentions, or he felt threatened, like maybe they knew, they could see him, because I think as you go through life being isolated, you put on this mask and you don't want people to see what's really going on behind the closed doors. You don't want people to see the pain that you're going through or the suffering that you're going through. So you put on this mask where people can't see through into what's going on. And so I think for him, that was part of it as well. He didn't want people to see through him or see what he was doing to all of us. And I think people do that, at least I think. I think they do it because of their insecurities, because of their fears of rejection, their fears of being judged by others. And so what they do is, because of all of that and because of their insecurities around people in their work or friendships or whatever, they isolate the family so that he has them all to himself. He has their undivided attention. And he knows that even though when he goes out into the world, nothing is right, when he comes home, he has them all to himself. And what I would notice is as time would go by, if we tried to make friends or have relationships with other people, things would unravel for him, and he would play games and trick us and do all kind of crazy things. And I felt like that was to draw us back in, or he would do things and say things that would make us feel like we're the bad person, we're crazy, we're doing something wrong, when really it was him always doing something wrong. But he was just trying to control everybody and keep us all to himself. And I mean, he had a lot of issues, and there was a lot going on in our home. There was a lot of abuse, of all kinds of abuse going on in our home. And so I think he just kept us isolated so that people wouldn't be able to see what was really going on. And I remember we started at a new church, and of course he always put on the face that, he was a Christian and we would go to church. And I remember doing like a get to know you, a membership kind of thing at the church, and feeling, gosh, you're scared to say anything. You don't know what you can or can't say. You don't want people to be able to see. It's like you've got this mask on and you don't want people to see what's really going on at home. And I remember sometime later, when I started volunteering at the church, I could see my information, and I remember pulling up my information, and I saw where they saw through us. They said something's going on in that family. And I thought, oh my gosh, like even they could see, that we were all wearing masks and we weren't disguising ourselves very well. And that was terrifying to me because I knew what was going on in our home. And the fact that other people maybe could see that something wasn't quite right was really scary to me, because I was constantly trying to figure out how to get out, but not sure how or who I could let in. And so as time went by, this is what I did. Whether that works for you, I don't know, but I'm just telling you, for me, this is what I did. I slowly met a couple of women at church, and we would get together while the kids were at Motion together. So while they were at Motion is our church youth group. And while they were together, while the kids were all together, we would get together and we would just go to dinner. And and most of the time my husband would work late and he wouldn't know because he knew they were at church. He would come home late. So I would go to dinner with my friends and I would get to know them. And I didn't really open up to them, but what I did see in that relationship was how screwed up my life was and my family, and how we are not normal and everything is wrong. And so it just helped me start to see things differently and open up my eyes, because before that, I just thought everybody's family was screwed up, and that everybody has secrets, and I didn't really realize that we needed help, or that me and my children needed help, how to get out. And so I just continued to be friends with them. And this went on for a while. And it just was nothing intrusive, or, not really saying a whole lot, just observing and sharing a little bit here and there, but never too much. And then I would join small groups and I wouldn't say very much. Of course, I put on the face that everything was great. I had a great family. My children are wonderful. My husband's wonderful. And so I continued that face for such a long time, even though I was just dying on the inside. My health was deteriorating. My mental and emotional well-being was deteriorating, and life was just super hard. But, we did the best that we could, and I continued pushing forward, and I kept thinking, I wish there was somebody that could help me. And so I just continued to have the two friends that I did and go to small groups and hope that eventually, it's almost like you want somebody to say to you, hey, I see you and I know what's going on and I'm here for you and I want to help you, because you don't want to say it out loud, or say it to somebody, because you just don't know what that's going to look like, right? And so that's what I started doing slowly to get myself not isolated anymore, and just trying to get my children more involved in church. Now, life was difficult when we would come home on Wednesday nights because he didn't want to hear anything about what you learned in church, but yet he would go to church and acted like a Christian, and he always wanted to teach the Bible at home. So it was like, it made life very confusing for my children, because he would seem like a godly man and a Christian or whatever, but yet they knew the things that he was doing wrong and how he would treat everybody. So it just kind of messed everybody up as to what a Christian really even looks like. And so we've all had to kind of relearn what that looks like, and realize that he really wasn't a Christian. He just was putting on that mask as a Christian. And so, we've had to learn and walk through that and find our healing since everything blew up 9 years ago. But that was how I started pulling us out, was getting us more involved and around other people so that my children could see maybe another way, and for me to get an outlet and maybe find another way. And eventually, it led me to get the help that I needed. But it was a long journey and it was a process. And I don't know how to help you get through that process faster. I would love to help you and try to help you map out a solution if at all possible. I know there's a way. I know that now, after going through what I went through, I can now, when I'm talking to somebody, I can see a path and I can see a way out, that I couldn't see when I was in the middle of it. And I would love to help you with that. If you want me to help you with that, I would love to help you. And I know the journey is hard and it's long and it's difficult, and it's really hard to let people in, and you feel like you have this awful secret that is having to stay inside, and you're keeping it all bound up, and it's just rotting you out on the inside, and it's just destroying you. At least that's how I felt. So I would love to offer you some free stuff. So down below, I'm going to put a link to a free gift. It's a short little book that I wrote, a little bit about this journey. I also have a course that I've put together that I think would be amazing for you. It's kind of my whole journey. And I'm offering the first module free. So you can just click and get the first module. And then if it's appealing to you, or if it works for you, or if you like it, whatever, then you can purchase the course. So this way you can just give it a test run, see if you like it, see if it works for you. And then that way it doesn't cost you anything. And so please like, share, and subscribe to this video and my YouTube channel, and share it with other women, because I'm sure there's other women out there like me and like you that are struggling. We've wore a mask for so long, and we've been isolated from the world for so long, and it's time to come out. It's time to see what's really going on and to discover this whole other world out there, and the freedom that you and I deserve so much to have, because God never intended for us to be isolated and kept to ourselves. We are meant to be in community with other people, to have a support system, and to feel the love of other people, to be heard and to be seen, and not be silenced by someone trying to control our every behavior and keep us away from other people in the world. So I just encourage you check out some of my free stuff. See if any of it interests you. Thank you so much for joining me on this short little let's talk about it podcast, YouTube. I don't know. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with all of this. So I just thought I'm going to make some videos and we're going to see what happens. So thank you so much for joining me. Have a blessed day. God bless you.